Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah or Marian Abdullahi on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. This episode is very, very important, obviously. And actually, when I recorded it, I was having a lot of anger towards God myself and going through, whatever you could assume someone would go through if they are getting pissed off with God, as to just the suffering that they go through. Since whoever follows my podcast, you know the things I tell you I go through. And it just seems to be getting worse. So that's basically just love on my part that I chose to exhibit towards whoever this could help one day, because this message is very important and you'll be able to understand a lot of the things that I'm saying. But this is also for someone that I care about, that I created a podcast for. And this episode, really, the subject will help you, I would say, greatly. So inshallah, it will. Just know that I recorded this episode for you, and it's going to help everyone else. And I don't even know if you're listening to this podcast, but just want you to know, since when I talk about praying to God for help, not only have I also not uploaded these really powerful prayers that I've learned recently, but obviously it gets overwhelming. Even the ones that I uploaded, and some of them are too long, and I had to learn over time better ways to pray, basically. So I just want you to know that for you personally, you don't have to really deal with that sort of mental stress, that you don't know how to pray, that you don't know how to break generational or bloodline powers off of you or anything like that, because that's something that I do for you. So I do want you to pray at night for yourself, obviously, but just know that, right, as I am trying to always upload this content of how to pray until you start to also do it yourself, that I'm already doing that for you. So you don't have to. That's why I'm not worried as much that I'm not uploading these prayers, because obviously I made the podcast for you. So I'm not worried that the most sort of essential topic on how to pray, I didn't really upload these new prayers, because I'm doing it for you anyway. So it is going to help you. It is going to enter your life. Things are going to start to change. And at some point, that's going to seem like something bad's happening. Right? Whatever you're trying to get away from seems like it's going to come into your life at some point, or bad things will start to happen, or evil humans will maybe sort of try to enter your life again. Just know that that's what demons do because your prayer is working. Always protect yourself and, right, be smart, obviously, and pray against them. But know that also that's also sometimes trauma trying to heal. Like demons do this anyway. They bring back evil humans into your life. Usually those who abused you as a kid, when you're praying against them, all of a sudden they start stalking the person. Because it's also, right, when you were praying, it's like you have to deal with them, God is not the one bringing them into your life. Demons are. I'm just saying that when demons do that, right, your trauma is then saying to you, deal with it. Don't be scared of them. Deal with them. Right? Usually they attacked you as a kid. So that sort of fear that you had as a kid, even though you're an adult now, it still can come over you, that feeling, right? Even though you're strong and an adult now. That's what I'm saying. The trauma is saying, now we got to be strong. Now we got to be an adult. Now we got to fight. Don't let them make you scared, uncomfortable, or cross your boundaries. You have boundaries. Maybe you didn't disown or cut them off yet. You're just being cordial with them. Well, don't tell them anything about yourself, your plans, good people that you plan to have in your life or whatever. Don't tell them anything. Just that, right? That sort of distant way. As you work your way to cut them off, disown them, etc. Ask God for strength, obviously, but don't be alone with them or go into their home or visit them or anything like that. Always tell them to just visit you at a public place. Act like you're busy, you have a job, whatever. and just, hey, like those sort of distant relatives like that, that people don't like. The way they just keep them away, right? That cordial way, like you treat them like a stranger, like a coworker. Treat them like that. Don't let them actually come to your house, your apartment, whatever. And I know they might burden you a lot and harass you a lot. And find a smart way. Don't always be obvious that you're avoiding them, because they are very, you get me? They're psychopathic, obviously, whoever you're probably trying to avoid. So they can obviously say it. Are you avoiding us? Are you, like, you're going to say it, okay? Because they want you to then be like, no, I'm not. You can visit me. They want to push your boundaries. Make it obvious, just like humans do with their body language. They make it obvious they don't want you in their life. They make it obvious they're not going to let you go beyond this level like that. Make it obvious with your body language, your demeanor, the way you greet, that, yeah, I'm not uncomfortable in telling you that I don't necessarily want to invite you to my house. Like that. Like, make it obvious that you're not scared of that. But you're not going to say it. You're just going to be sort of distant and, oh, yeah, how are you? Yeah, just visiting you guys, whatever. And then you go about your business. And then you go into prayer, asking God to remove them from your life. Just know that there's nothing to be scared of. They're just human beings. If you focus on that character that you see inside of them, right, the sort of creepy, like, person, acts like a predator, it looks creepy, it usually seems like it's smiling, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, abusive families or humans, whoever is psychopathic or narcissistic, they just look like they're confident. They look like they're comfortable with you. They look like they're not scared of you. That is what you're seeing. That's the demon, how it acts like inside their body. It's not even what the demon looks like. It's witchcraft they used to make that face appear in your mind. You need to actually tell yourself, this is just a human being. And tell yourself they're mentally ill, so that then you don't actually get affected by anything they do. Because then if you mentally tell yourself someone's mentally ill, right, who's psychopathic, narcissistic, evil, whatever, abused you before, by telling yourself they're mentally ill, that power that your mind was giving them is going to stop. Because you're going to see them as weak and stupid and just small little thing. You know what I mean? You're going to see they're weak as hell, like actual mentally ill people, how you're not obviously scared of them. Like that. Because abusive humans, if they abused you before, their demons try to always show you this image inside your head. Like this big, thing just looking at you. Hey, how are you? Like, how's you been, man? You haven't talked to us for so, like that. It's like this sort of confident, weird character-like thing. It's like a murderer who's targeting a victim in a big party, but everyone else doesn't know. But that person knows. The way they stop when other people catch them and they just act casual. Oh, yeah, I came to the party to like that. But the way we, the audience, know, right, they were just chasing someone like that. We know what the face they had, that crazy predatory face, as they were chasing a victim. But when other people saw them who don't know, the way, right, they try to act different with others. That's probably how these evil humans, our families or whatever, act around you. They change with others. So just tell yourself, they're just weak, dumb, mentally ill humans. That character is actually witchcraft and is not real. That's not what they look like. They don't feel that way towards you. They're scared of you. They're just trying to enter your life to do witchcraft and evil to you so that you go back to all the mental baggage that you were dealing with all these years from all the ways they ruined your life, directly and indirectly. Just know they came because of a demonic retaliation. So this episode wasn't supposed to be this long, but I recorded part 1 and part 2, so please take advantage of it. Part 2, really, I get into more of the answers or the solutions. Part 1, I was touching on it, but then I got redirected or rearranged to talk about other things because I was being harassed in the environment as I was recording it. It's kind of what happens. So just know that I'm here for you. God is always the king. He's always there for us as a species and all his creation, and there's nothing to be scared of. It's just demonic retaliation when you pray. They like to come and bring you these people, and they want you to feel like a small little kid again. You're not. You're an adult. You know how to tell people your boundaries and be like, no, I'm just going to greet them. They're not going to enter my apartment, my home, or visit me or get to know anything about me. They're not going to push my buttons. They're not going to right? Keep asking me questions and I dodge and dodge and dodge, and at some point it's so obvious I'm avoiding them. No, just psychologically take away the power you're giving them. Psychologically take away this feeling that you're avoiding them and you don't want them to know anything. You're being fake with them. They can tell, and they're going to try to push your boundaries. Don't act fake with them. Just express that you don't like them with your face, but just your behavior is just cordial. Hello, hello. Like coworkers. Then they're gonna get it. They're very sensitive to how we feel. Psychopathic, evil humans. They can tell no one's hiding that they dislike them, but the human is just normal with them. Like, yes, I put the paper over there, right? Your tone, your face. You're just not hiding that you dislike them. You're not scared. You're not avoiding them. Then they will not ask you questions and keep getting annoying and annoying. So this is part 1, and then part 2 is the other episode. It's very long, so listen to it. And don't be scared of anything. And I got basically rearranged to different subjects as I was recording it, because I was being harassed as I was recording it in the environment. So please do listen to part 2, because that's kind of where I finalize all the advice that I'm trying to give you as to the solutions, basically, on how to finally be mentally and emotionally free from all baggage, all pain, all suffering, all problems, as you are working your way to fix the areas of your life. This episode is very important, obviously. And actually, when I recorded it, I was having a lot of anger towards God myself, and going through, whatever you could assume someone would go through if they are getting pissed off with God, as to just the suffering that they go through. Since whoever follows my podcast, the things I tell you I go through. And it just seems to be getting worse. So that's basically just love on my part that I chose to exhibit towards whoever this could help one day, because this message is very important, and you'll be able to understand a lot of the things that I'm saying. But this is also for someone that I care about, that I created a podcast for. And this episode, really, the subject will help you, I would say, greatly. So inshallah, it will. Just know that I recorded this episode for you, and it's going to help everyone else. And I got basically rearranged to different subjects as I was recording it, because I was being harassed as I was recording it in the environment. So please do listen to part 2, because that's kind of where I finalize all the advice that I'm trying to give you as to the solutions, basically, on how to finally be mentally and emotionally free from all baggage, all pain, all suffering, all problems, as you are working your way to fix the areas of your life. Too much evil in this world. Too much distress and sadness surrounds. Helplessness and inability to see how stolen destinies can be retrieved. For demons do have the power to steal your destiny, using all bad experiences they can ever create, using evil humans they possess, and those they send you to traumatize, and traumatize. Beat the hell out of the person's mind, causing all the mental problems humans face today, turning beautiful people into sick, psycho people who can't understand what's wrong with the thoughts in their head. God doesn't seem like the answer. Seems like a fake, strange, weird character out there that people just try to force into your mind, force into your life. Religion is corrupted, and there's too many. And if there's one God, how can there be more than one religion? Therefore, the mind questions, and it says, what the hell? That obviously means there's no way for me to turn. For how can I turn anywhere when all these religions are filthy and promoting so much immorality, injustice, and disgusting ways to treat the human race? to themselves and to each other. You give up God, religion, spirituality, for too much darkness and demonic is into it. They've entered every field, whether it's the health, whether it's the medical, whether it's the justice, whether it's the governments, whether it's the religion, whether it's the academic, whether it's the typical day-to-day experiences. They're every day and everywhere. What they want you to experience is what we all see. They have too much power. The rational thing the body and the brain conclude is to be angry with God. Give up on him or to shoot yourself in the head. And some go the other way of numbing all this pain through drugging the self. While others over there, you observe, seem happy, good parents, good families, good upbringing, good decent life, good circle of friends, good romantic partner. It's not all blue. There's a lot of pain over there as well. Maybe they just didn't have to be born to evil families like yourself. But they still will have to deal with suffering in this life sooner or later. But the demonic is everywhere. It will just come after them at some point. The solution, other than God being your source of strength and going to him and praying to him, especially midnight to 4 a.m., always expressing all the anger, all the frustration, all your feelings at him, about yourself, about your life, about whatever evil has come to you, whatever experiences you've seen, good and bad, what problems you have, what solutions you want, the ones you don't have solutions to, asking for a solution, throwing tantrums in front of him. That's solution number one. Pleading for help, begging for mercy. Sometimes he likes to put you through way more than you should go through. Just like a court case, present your case. Tell him this is too much and you want to get help now. You want him to stop now. And then see what he does. A lot of us will not be happy with the response. You already knew we were going to say that. And he was going to put us through it anyway. But when it's evil coming after you, a lot of the times he will step in. And that's what prayer is for. So that he can step in at a much bigger way than you yourself. The powers he already gave you in this physical life, what you could physically do to stop it, could ever do. Each human has their own level of difficulty God will put them through, while the rest is really from demons coming after the person, and God just allows it. Solution number one was to go to God. You've probably done that already, and you're pissed off because nothing's changing maybe. Solution number two is to wake up every day and take care of your body and mind. Eating healthy, good food. Usually fruits, no matter how uncomfortable you are with it. Eating salads every now and then. You have to eat something light and healthy for the stomach. Every now and then you can do your typical cool burgers. Eat good food because that actually affects how we feel. If the stomach is in pain, especially for some people who have sensitive stomachs, And there's all the demonic attack to your body and mind using witchcraft, curses that do cause pain in the body, stress in the mind, all these intrusive thoughts, all these dreams. It obviously affects the body. It's not just affecting how you think and just how your life goes. Things you cannot touch. You can't touch life and you cannot touch a thought. But it's actually affecting something you can see and touch with your own eyes, which is your body and mind. You can see your mind in pain, as if you have a migraine. The two sides of your face, you could hold it. Basically, where we all have that sort of bone that you can feel. If you were to wear glasses, basically where the line would circle before it reaches your ears, that's where you're going to have to constantly rub because you're in pain due to the demonic attack. So our life is being influenced by demons. We cannot ignore that they are harassing us. Because whatever actual problems we have, we can go and find a solution. But usually our problems are internal. It's our feelings and the thoughts we get. It's the way these situations, these difficult, what they make us feel, that's actually pushing some of us in the wrong place, and others don't have that as much right now, and they're able to enjoy this life. And they could be also going through day-to-day difficulty as well. When we were younger and things were kind of decent, we had difficulties too. Life was hard always. But the mind was clear. There was no trauma. There was no intrusive thoughts, intrusive images, intrusive names of humans who have harassed you or bothered you or done evil to you. Flashbacks of your childhood, the evil families, what they did. Some of them, things you didn't even know, but now they're a flashback. Now they resurfaced. And now you're like, what is this memory? You don't even think it's about you. Huge traumatic result on the brain. Therefore, I sort of pushed it to the back. And now it's back. It's saying, you need to heal me. You need to deal with me. I'm not going away. I'll come back sooner or later. Deal with me now. Usually in our 20s. In our sort of after a little bit of our teens, mid-teens. When we're at least mature enough to seek help. Because we actually know such a thing as trauma and all that stuff is out there. Because all of us know bad things happen. But we don't think it affects the brain. We don't think trauma can result. We don't think we can have nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. We don't think that. We have to be young adults to some degree to learn this stuff. You can go to school, but that doesn't mean you understand what the teacher was talking about. When you experience it or others, through them you see it. Your friends, your typical coworker, typical person on YouTube talking about mental problems. That's when you realize everyone is being attacked mentally. And not just bad events happening to our lives. And you think, well, aren't they connected? Bad things happen. Doesn't that affect us mentally? No. Including me as an example. All of us have had bad experiences. But we forget. At some point, some of those bad experiences, they're not like the others. They come back and terrorize our mind. So not all bad experiences will cause trauma. You just forget. Trauma, we would really say, is the whatever it is that's causing intrusive thoughts. It could be 8 years ago, and those humans who, even if they just said one sentence to you, as long as they made you feel threatened, they made you feel scared, they made you feel like they were acting like some predator. You're not some weak person. You're a human being. You're not weak. But they look at you with those eyes like they're looking at some piece of thing or meat or whatever. They're projecting that nonsense to you. That's a possessed human. Their demon do that. They have mental problems, obviously. They're not regular human beings. Evil humans are all mentally ill. They're sick in the head. First, they get a thought. When they see you, They get a thought. And it's like a long narration. It's like a living being talking to them. I can see it. Since I'm spiritually awake, I can see how the demon is talking to the human and getting their permission to come out of them and harass me. They're just distracted. They're minding their business. But I can see, as if I have the power to see a demon, I can literally see how the demon is talking to this human, telling them what they think about me, thoughts about me. And then the human, something happens and they agree to it, and the demon takes control. And now they insult you. They harass you. They try to touch you pervertedly. They try to sabotage whatever I'm trying to do in that sort of business environment. If I'm a customer, they try to ruin my transaction. If they're a corrupted cop, they try to harass me. If they're driving a vehicle, they drive recklessly. If they're a child, they run towards you and try to hit you. They're children. They're sick. The mind is where they're sick. Humans who are not evil like that, humans who are healthy like me, demons want to traumatize us. We get to deal with trauma. While those ones, obviously they traumatize them at the beginning by abusing them and teaching them evil in other ways. But then they're evil, they became evil. They're the worst of the human race. And now they're just vessels to put thoughts into. If they agree with the thought, if they like it, to harass this innocent stranger, bystander, whatever, they like it. The suggestion that came to them, to just stare at this person, make them uncomfortable. The demon is literally making it seem like it's a dominant thing. Like they're cool or something. If they stare at you for a long time, and the demon is saying to them, if they sort of move or flinch or do something, if they sort of step out of their sort of absent natural state, well, you got them. See, you did something. You're cool. Do you like that feeling? Do it a little more. And that's where that sort of face that looks like some predator comes out of them. It's now the demon took control. The human just needs to give permission to that thing talking to them, telling them how to feel about you, telling them what to project to you, telling them, I'm going to make this human uncomfortable and scared and anxious. You just stare at them. You guys just simply see a bad human, a bad behavior. I get to see how it actually happened at the beginning. Before the bad behavior happened, by these humans who are possessed, which is 90-something% of the human race. Those who among them are evil, truly evil humans who actually would hurt, harass people, covertly and directly, even though when you look at them, they don't look like it always, unless you look right at them. You're going to see it. I have the power to see how, before they actually do something bad, what the hell happened prior. Whatever is possessing them, that's how you know they're possessed and they don't want to help. They'll never go to religious people and say they believe in demons and it's controlling them and they need help because they like it. Because to them, it's just like a bad friend that sort of socializes with them and says, hey, look at her. Look at her. Let's just stare at her. Let's make her uncomfortable. It's like that. So it doesn't always seem to them something they should really get out of their body. It seems like another person like them, just another wicked thing. They could care less if they're possessed or not. They call them mentally ill. They're just possessed. The others who are not technically labeled mentally ill, just bad, evil humans, the average human in society, same thing, possessed. I can see whatever the thoughts are that demons are saying to the human before they get their permission to harass me. They cannot harass me. They are blind about who I am. They cannot see who I am. So that's the only reason it's happening. They're blind. I get to see, therefore, what it looks like when they harass others like themselves, just a typical human. By God making me see what they do to other people they see on a daily basis, how they harass them. The process, basically. By God blinding them of who I am, the powers I have, they cannot harass me. Their demons are scared of me. That's why I'm put in a situation where I'm being persecuted in a way that only a prophet is persecuted, to expose that his religion is corrupted, to expose all the stuff I'm sharing, and in the future will be used for bigger things that are supernatural or divine. So no human being on the face of the earth will ever look at me and actually see who I am, what I look like, how I personally would make them feel. They're never going to see that. They don't see me. I'm invisible to them, basically. God just blinds them. They just see a person. They don't see me. So I get to experience what they would do if demons took over, gave them a suggestion, and then took over and used them to do bad things. And when they're sort of distracted and not necessarily harassing anyone, what they look like. I get to see all that. I get intrusive thoughts telling me what this human, something sort of inside of them, I know it's not the human. When I was a kid and I didn't understand demons were persecuting me or following me through animals and humans, I just knew there was a sort of weird character, like this sort of strange character. I knew it wasn't a person. This weird character that's just watching me like a hawk. It's like it's never seen a person before. It just watches me. It's not watching me because it wants to watch me. It's watching me because it wants to project those thoughts to my mind. It possesses the human, makes them stare at me. It doesn't matter what environment we're in. You could be thinking, what the hell? Aren't other people going to see that? They don't care. It's a demon. They don't have this power over you. They stare and their thoughts enter my mind. The thoughts are basically telling me, this sort of narrator, it's like a talking person. It's not a one thought, it's a long narration or dialogue. And it's just telling me thoughts about myself. If I'm trying to pick an item at a store, I'm trying to buy something, it's just telling me thoughts about what I'm doing, trying to make me very self-conscious that someone's staring at me. Oh, they think you're a thief. They think you're going to pick this item. They think this, blah, blah, blah. It's just lying about me. It's projecting qualities to me that are not my own. It's trying to prevent me from taking my time to pick what I want. When I'm a customer, when I'm an employee, taking my time to do my job. Through that staring, it's projecting thoughts to me and making it seem like whoever is staring is thinking that about me. They're blind. The demon is using witchcraft to put those thoughts into my head and to put those thoughts into the person's mind. And they just stuck in that maze. They just stuck staring at you because God is showing me when they do that to others, how they look like. They get a thought. They get a, sort of like a friend, give him a suggestion. Hey, look at this person. Like that is talking to them about you. When they're trying to harass you, before that happens, the demon first interacted with this human. They tell them things about you. Then the human agrees to it. They agree to do evil to you. Then they stare at you. And then they actually act on whatever the demon told them to do. Touch this person. Bump into this person. Insult this person. It's that simple. As a cop, they tell them, swerve at this person, park next to them, approach them, profile them. So humans who do evil, that's the process their mind goes through. Demons ask for their permission. It gives them enough time to understand what the hell is happening inside their head. They know it's not themselves. They know something external is seeking their permission to harass you. Seeking their permission to use them by telling them instructions how to behave to harass you. So they're the ones obviously doing the behavior. But for me, since I'm not like you, since I'm in a weird divine situation, I'm being exposed to what you go through. So demons are actually the ones using these humans to harass me. The human didn't really look at me and pick on me and say, okay, I'll bother this person. They don't have that power over me. They can only do that to each other. They're equal to each other. Typical human is equal to the other human. They can bother each other. When one is evil, the demon takes permission the way I just told you. And then they harass you. And if you become evil tomorrow, that's the process you're going to go through. And if you've ever harassed anyone, you already know that. You've experienced this already. I get to see what the demon is projecting to me. You get to see someone sitting at a bench, minding their business with their headphones on. I get to see exactly when they put their arm out, exactly when they randomly touch their head, exactly when they stare at the cars passing by. When someone who's like an employee is standing in front of their store, like an auto store, how they're just watching the road. You just think those are humans just staring around, minding their business. I get to see that the demon is actually irritated and watching me as I record this. Possessing these people, making hand gestures, hand movements, and looking at me exactly at certain points of what I'm recording in this moment right now. And there's just constant intrusive thoughts about what these demons possessing these strangers are thinking and feeling about me and what I'm recording as they make the human do the behavior. As they stare, as they turn away, as they all randomly pick something up. I get to see what happened first in order for them to do that. Evil thoughts about me that, oh, they're listening to you. They can't handle what you're exposed. Oh, look at, then they stare at me. When they get too uncomfortable with what I'm saying, then they look away. To you, it's just a stranger looking around at the road, and then maybe they look to the left, and then I get to see why they look to the left. Why all of a sudden someone calls their name and they run out of the environment. Because their demons are trying to protect them because they're too fearful about what I'm recording, and they leave. Then they turn around. They repeat the cycle all over again. I know they're listening to me. I know they're paying attention. To you, it's just a bystander. Do you know how much trauma God puts me through by constantly showing me something invisible, what it's thinking and feeling, before it uses the human to then do a behavior? Because it's not hard to prove it. It's not hard for me to prove these are demons. Fully controlling the person and getting their agreement, obviously. Because they do exactly what the thoughts tell me inside my head. Whatever the thoughts tell me that human is going to do, they do it. How is that possible? I'm not God. It's because the demon is telling me in order to cause me anxiety so that you get scared every time you see such a behavior. So I get to see how they use bad humans and how they use regular humans to get them to agree to the thoughts in their mind, the suggestion, and those humans every day like you, whichever type you are, you go and do certain things. I get to see the process by being persecuted by demons, by them being used by God to teach me how they use humans against each other and against themselves, by how they control them using thoughts. I get to see the actual thoughts that human over there is thinking and having inside their head from the demon. The thoughts are coming to them. It's not their thoughts. And then I get to see when they agree to it and actually want to act on it. That's power. But it's obviously hurting my mind. I don't need to hear this. This intensifies when I'm doing recordings like this, because I'm teaching you something that one day will benefit people, even though a lot of people are not on my podcast. One day, this is going to finally have everyone's attention. Now, I'm going through situations where my life is not stable. God doesn't want people's attention on me. As I go through difficulty, as I go through suffering, I'm recording sort of what I learn in the process, in a tiny percentage. Step number 2, to take care of yourself. in this difficult life, especially if you've gone through a lot of trauma and suffering, if you've come from harassing, evil, weird families, horrible fathers that scream and yell at you and were always having anger tantrums, and maybe the mother is always trying to, even sometimes without saying it to your face, she's always covering for him. You don't even feel safe telling her what he did to you. And vice versa. It could be the other way around. Maybe the parents weren't the problem, but the siblings were. Maybe the siblings weren't the problem, but school was. Maybe school wasn't the problem, but the workplace became your place of trauma. Maybe that wasn't the case, but police always profile and terrorize you. It's always the same process. These human beings who have bad hearts, demons come to, and that's also not your feelings and not your emotions. Just as the thought came from them, the emotion comes from them. The way you can tell is when you as a human are feeling depressed or sad about a normal situation, like you just tripped and broke your leg, it always seems like just a sad type emotion. Ouch, oh my God, how could this happen to me? It seems normal. It doesn't affect your sort of perspective on life, correct? But when you know that it's demonic and it has nothing to do with you, it's not your feeling, it didn't come from you, is that the emotion seems way too heavy on your chest. Observe the heart area, the chest. It's way too heavy, like some brick is on it. It feels like there's some sort of tender pain on it. You know how pain can be sharp or tender? It feels like it's wet or something. It's just tender, but it's so disgusting. It's so painful. It doesn't feel like a normal heart, that moment. That's it. It's witchcraft. It's other powers only God knows that they're using. Because we human beings know things like witchcraft, curses, spells. We know certain terminologies for these powers they do and what they sort of do. But who knows other things could be possible that they are using. We don't need to know. Almost all the things that God doesn't usually teach us about demons is because it's not important for us to know. It's just going to ruin our energy and prevent us from enjoying this life. Imagine knowing there's evil, dark entities walking around you all day as a human race, always coming after you. Imagine, you're going to obviously never come out of your house. So there's a reason why God doesn't let us see them. God doesn't let us, deal with them in that sort of sense. Sadly, everyone's possessed except a few, because a lot of them had bad hearts. It's easy to get possessed then. So that's how they get to experience the demonic. But still, the sort of deja vu you don't want, the sort of, weird Twilight Zone experiences you don't want to have, where they show up in front of you in a mirror or something, you freak out. God doesn't want that. How are you going to live? He hides them from you. There's knowledge out there all throughout human history that they're the ones who send us thoughts and emotions that are bad. And sometimes it doesn't seem bad, right? Because they can send you a thought of maybe random happiness about something and they're trying to make you think you're actually happy about something, you actually like something. So it doesn't have to be an emotion that's bad. It's just that it's an emotion that's not authentic to you. That's how you know it's not yours. It's not authentic to you, who you are and your values and your gender and your identity as a human being. Because they can put this fake emotion in you that you like someone that you don't like. They put this sort of hyper quality in you. You become very hyper all of a sudden. Just talking too much, too loud, whatever. Are you really happy? No. You're unhealthy right now. You're unauthentic. Something's sort of coming over you, making you act unhealthy instead of your relaxed, calm, gentle way that all human beings are supposed to be. And the people they like, that's who they're going to laugh and have, great laughter with. And those that they don't know and those that obviously they don't like, they're just neutral. Anytime you feel like you're, acting out, you're hyper. You're just not yourself. You can't relax. And other people, every time you interact with them, you're always getting thoughts about what they think of you. That's it. That's now the demons attacking you. They're doing the same thing to those humans too. And they're influencing their behavior towards you. So if you calm down, if you relax, it helps those humans too. They also relax and calm down. We all need to always calm the body down because things are always coming in that have no right, including what I was originally talking about. The traumas, the depressive emotions and thoughts, the feelings that you're just going to die in this situation, your life is useless. If you prayed, well, God is useless, he's not going to help me, obviously. Oh, of course, he's helping me in this situation, but at least not this one. Look at this one. This was impossible. That's it. It's attacking you again. Helplessness and hopelessness does not come from God or ourselves. It comes from them again. It comes from these demons. Fear comes from them. Worry comes from them. Depression comes from them. Anxiety comes from them. Disbelief in God comes from them. All mental, psychological problems come from them. It's their nonsense and their damage is the things they carry inside their own brains that they want to put into us, the human race. However much is possible for each individual, they take it. That's why God doesn't want you doing certain sins like drugs and alcohol, even though it's not going to make you an evil person. Because that's how they gain access to your mind, gain access to your life. Those substances help them enter your mind, help them enter your personality, help them possess you at some point, and now they're in your life. You can't be authentic the way God designed you. And I'm sorry if you ever were on the wrong side of religion, never even knew this stuff was sinful. I'm sorry. All of us deserve an apology from I don't know who can ever give us a sorry. Because we all go through hell because of these stupid demons that seem to have God's permission to come after us. And we can never pray them away. Until the end of the world, they have permission to hang around and terrorize this species. The dumb, weak ones who become evil, they use them to commit crime and harassment and harm and sabotage to the rest, and to each other and to themselves. The ones who are decent and in the middle, they try to corrupt them to be evil. They always ruin their life in other ways. These ones and then the other ones, the good ones, and then the fourth ones, the righteous ones, they come after us with trauma. They try to traumatize us day and night. Even if no one is harassing you necessarily. Whatever is happening in your life, they're going to use it to cause you pain. That is not from God. Too much fear, worry, depressive thoughts. Too much despair and too much helplessness and hopelessness. Because that hurts the body. It hurts the heart. The heart is an organ. It hurts it. It weakens it. That's why people randomly at 50 or something die from a heart attack. It's not always because God just wanted to kill you with that. Sometimes it's an accumulation of all the times you felt pain in that place. And again, we're human, right? God makes us suffer. So it's not like it's always the demons, and if we fight with them, we're free from the pain in the heart. No, it comes from God too. He puts us through suffering. It also causes pain in the heart. It's just that one is rarely going to be the one to cause you death. That suffering usually is just for that time. God like heals you and stuff. Unless he's trying to kill you with it, the average person has problems in the body like health and heart because of the stress that's coming over our body. Same thing. That thing is talking to us. We just can't see it, and we don't all have the spiritual awakening to see how it's coming to your mind. How first they said something to you, and then ouch, you felt stressed all of a sudden. You feel sort of anxious. You can't stop moving your hands too much. You're looking at something, and all of a sudden you're looking at something else. You're like, wait a minute. This whole time, I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I'm on this screen, this page, but I didn't accomplish what I was trying to accomplish like that. You realize it a little bit later, sadly. You weren't even doing what you thought you were doing. How could you not know you were not doing what you wanted to do? Aren't you a living being with eyes and a mind? Why can't you see you're not progressing in whatever you're doing? Like you're not even leaving that paragraph. Because when they're attacking the mind with these thoughts and fake emotions that come from them, it's affecting our heart first, it's affecting our feelings, therefore it's affecting our body. It's like freezing the body. It's like it freezes us. Now that we're frozen, our breathing is also restricted. You don't even realize you didn't breathe for a while. That hurts you in many ways, and now your brain is stuck. The brain doesn't know what the hell's happening. It's gone. It's somewhere else. Therefore, it cannot say to you, hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. That's why sometimes you see people in a daze. Maybe they're washing something they already washed and they just keep washing it. They're pouring water from a sink and it's already full, but they're still standing there because their mind is somewhere else. So their power. Don't worry too much about it, right? Don't let this sort of overwhelm you. Oh my God, then what are we supposed to do? This is too much. No. Opposite equilibrium. Reverse it. That's your job. You know they come to your mind. They put thoughts and emotions into it. You become a certain way in your health, and you become a certain way in your thinking, and you become a certain way psychologically. Some people develop mental problems. I just don't like to call it mental illness because that's not something that's real. That's just a possessed person. When they're possessed and they act evil and strange and weird and crazy every day, if we accumulate those behaviors and we write it in a paper, then we could label it a certain type of illness today. That's just a demon. The way it makes them behave, the way it puts thoughts into their head, the way it makes them look at people in weird ways. It tells them crazy stuff about people they just see randomly. It gets their agreement to act crazy in front of those people. It's therefore just a possession, and I don't like to call it the illness. It's not an illness. But yeah, they're sick in the head, obviously. They're obviously crazy and they're sick. Okay. So whatever amount of psychological damage and sickness they're trying to cause the brain, whatever amount of health, whatever level you're in. Some people obviously don't have this mental illness nonsense. They just get tortured with intrusive thoughts due to situations that were traumatic in the past. Flashbacks of those situations. And some humans actually are mentally ill, correct? There are obviously some hide it, who we would call narcissistic, psychopathic. They're evil humans. They obviously are having mental problems. They obviously are mentally ill. They're sick, but they're the ones who like to act normal. So for that reason, unless you get to observe them very well, you may not notice this is actually a sick person, and don't sort of take it personally what they do. Because you never want to take it personally what these evil humans do, and what these ones we would really say are right, really mentally ill, what they do. Don't care. It's not a normal person. They're sick in the head. If you're sick in the head, why should anyone care what you do? It's not personal. You just get up, you just get random thoughts, you just boom, you just do weird things. There's this mentally ill human right now in front of me that's possessed, constantly looking back at me, even though he has headphones on. Constantly jumping and looking back at me with this hateful stare, as if he's sort of bothered by what I say about mental illness. Do you see? He didn't care about the other stuff I was recording so far, but only when I talk about mental illness, his demon possesses him to stare back at me with violent, angry, face. Because he wants me to stop recording and to get scared. Because you're just thinking it's a hateful face. Who cares? Ignore it. I'm seeing what the demon is projecting to me. He's projecting to me the most dumbest thing on the face of the earth. He's saying he's going to call cops on me because I'm talking about this. Does that make sense? Would a human being have any reason or any right to call police on someone who's recording anything I've said so far in this podcast? No, right? This has nothing to do with police. Because these demons, when they persecute me, they like to accuse me of these qualities of mental illness and a criminal and a bad person. The same way they accuse prophets of these things when prophets came down and taught you these same things. When they came down with the correct religion, the correct version of Islam, which was God's original religion, when they came down with spiritual knowledge that people are possessed and we need to get the demons out of them, oh, you're crazy, man. That's what they would say to them. So even though I'm not going to get this stranger to come up to me and say that nonsense to me, because I'm not in that sort of situation the prophet was in, their demons still have the power to say the same stuff to me inside my head. They stare at me and project those thoughts to me. If they ever bring a cop to me, he's gonna accuse me of mental illness. Guess what type of cop that is? The one who actually has mental illness. A normal, healthy cop never accuses me of anything. They never harass me. They never accuse me of mental illness or anything, because when you're a good person, do you accuse people of things they're not? No, right? You also have the ability to see who really is mentally ill and who's not. You can tell a normal person from a sick one. It doesn't matter how they dress or how they look, right? Mentally ill people look distinct. They just look different from the average person. Their face is just different, right? They look like a robot or something. So what I'm saying is, it's only humans who are mentally ill themselves, who are working in jails, working in government, working as law enforcement, working in healthcare, working in the medical. Those are the only ones the demon can use, the ones who actually have mental illnesses, to accuse me of mental illness. If I was to ever be in a situation where, they accuse me of a crime and put me in jail. Why? Because the highest level of an evil human is a mentally ill person. If we were to put human beings in order, those who are bad, right? Bad heart, they're toxic, they're negative, etc. The highest one is actually mentally ill. They're mentally ill. That's why they operate like a psychopath. They operate like a sociopath. They're sick in their head. That's not an actual person like you and I. It's actually a mentally ill person. But they can put on a nice suit and get a corporate job and be your president. Okay? Or they can actually look like a crazy lunatic, mentally ill one in the street. Either way, they're mentally ill. They're not normal. Their brain has transformed due to the amount of demons in their body. So they desire so greatly to accuse people who are better than them, like me, who don't have this problem. They desire to accuse you of it. But the average person does not get harassed with this. Demons, for some reason, are obsessed with people God chooses, like me, to reveal lies in his religion. They, for some reason, pick this nonsense for us. Because it is the weakest level of a human being. They're crazy. And I have the highest level of intellect if I'm chosen by God to do very difficult divine things. My mind is my greatest power. They want to accuse that. It's like the greatest insult. And they also accuse prophets of being perverted, because that's the highest insult. These are very moral people. The opposite of my qualities, they're accusing me of it without saying a word, just by bringing me mentally ill people who just keep jumping and moving and twitching every 5 seconds. And every time they move and act strange, I get a thought about what they're projecting to me inside that human being, so that then they can traumatize me and actually get me to live my life being scared of what they're accusing me of inside my head. Do you see what's going on? They want to control me. That human, sometimes to some degree, may not even be knowing what the hell the demon is doing through them. They just might feel bad energy and just look around and get scared. Bad energy coming over them, possessing them. But these humans, what God has showed me today is they actually do know what they're doing. Mentally ill human beings like people to think that they don't know what's wrong with them, but they do. They know there's demons in their body. They know they choose to act irrational and crazy and violent and weird. They like it. They don't want to change, and they don't want help. Because the first thing they do is they don't tell us what's wrong with them. They don't tell us something's possessing them. They don't tell us they're evil people. They act like they're good people, and they just have mental problems. Obviously, there are humans today who are labeled mentally ill, who are, right, normal people who would never commit crime or do bad things. They're not evil. They just have a lot of, right, depression or anxiety. Mental illness has been taken by the devil, and now he put normal emotions into it. Things you could have if you're grieving over someone who died. You could just have depression, right? He put any bad emotion into it now. Anyone can be labeled mentally ill today, as a way to just put all of us into this nonsense. So they can take your freedom away and put you at a hospital and torture your body. Treat you like an object. Because these institutions are not supposed to exist, where humans, you can take them and force anything on their body. Obviously, that's just like a rapist, a murderer, a slave holder. These hospitals, these governments, what they're doing is the exact same thing. So when God's religion comes back, when justice comes back, when his leaders come back, they're going to erase this nonsense. So that's why they get harassed with it. That's why I'm being harassed with demons who keep projecting and accusing me of mental illness and being a criminal and a bad person. Because I came to get rid of these institutions. I'm going to get rid of it. So these demons are thinking, well, God gave us permission to harass you with it. Because you're going to get rid of it. It's that simple. You're not going to get harassed with this. Every human you see on a daily basis is not going to be mentally ill, and they're not going to try to accuse you of nonsense. They're just going to mind their business. I'm being harassed. I'm being persecuted because I came to get rid of this nonsense. I'm sorry I went off in a different direction. That happens because as I record, these possessed people are harassing me. Due to being spiritually awake, I can see the thoughts inside their head, the demons inside their body. Why are they staring at me? Before they stared at me with the thought that came to their head. Do you know how difficult it is to focus on my recording when they keep attacking me with evil thoughts and emotions by staring at me and walking by me and acting crazy around me? Not to say that then I haven't overcome that and I can't focus on my recording. No, I just wanted to use it against them. Instead of always ignoring this stuff, I should use it to teach you something. So it's still going to benefit you. So, opposite equilibrium, reverse it. The thoughts are not your own. The emotions are not your own. Whatever evil was done to you, you didn't do anything to attract it. It's not your business. You didn't do nothing. God already gave the devil the power to come after all of us before we were even born. It's not a fair battle. We can't even see these lunatics. They possess the evil ones among us and come after your life in many ways. It's not your fault. That's why this statement, the opposite of it, it's your fault, is always used by predators. Usually the rapist. I guarantee you a thief is never going to say it's your fault. Someone who just hit you in the face is never going to say it's your fault. But a rapist usually says it's your fault because this is the highest level of a mentally ill human being. The worst one, the psychopath, the sociopath who likes to harm the body like an object. They rape, they kill, they enslave. They're the ones who get into your presidencies and they start wars so they can ask many nasty, filthy, perverted males to go into war and harm people over there. These psycho-humans rule our world. Do you get it? Because that's the only one the demons can possess to do high-level criminal conduct. Just typical humans who are decent in their morality that they possess through something like drugs or whatever. They can't get you to do bad things to people. You're not a bad person. You just got into a bad lifestyle. Okay. We're not going to really see what the possession was for unless we really look at the ones who are mentally ill. It's for those types of crazy behaviors. To harm others. To harm people's minds. Because people obviously complain about intrusive thoughts around certain individuals or certain environments or certain situations because those humans themselves are mentally ill. Their demons have the power to project thoughts to your mind if you're simply around them. And sometimes just normal people. Unless we express this reality that demons have power to send thoughts to us, we're never going to fix this problem of mental problems in the world. What the hell is the problem with it? Obviously, you agree there's different types. There's ones that just normal, healthy people go through, right? Healthy, wonderful people. They just tell you they just have, mental problems, whatever. They're not a sociopath and they're not evil, right? They don't have bipolar or anything like that. But they have mental problems, right? They maybe deal with a lot of negativity, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot like that. There's different levels. The first one is like the depressive, the worry, the anxiety type of mental attack. And then the middle is more like actual psychological disorders like bipolar, whatever. Third is like the narcissist type of, they dead. Have you seen their face? They look like a robot. It doesn't mean the human actually doesn't feel or think anything. They're normal. It's just when evil comes over them, right? Evil is like an energy. It's like some sort of living thing that can physically take over you. When it takes over them, including the demons possessing them, when it takes over them, they actually ask the human to act like that. They ask them, act like a zombie, act like a weird, strange, creepy, stalker-like body language. By observing how animals usually eat each other, a lot of the predatory, body language demons learned it from them. So they ask humans to copy that. They tell the human what to do. And sometimes the demon can just possess them and do it through them. Let's say the first time the human did. They just need you to agree to the thought when you're an evil person about that person. They send you bad thoughts about a person they want you to harass or do some crime to. It's that simple. The human agrees with it. When they agree with it, they take over the body. They're doing it together. Okay, this person is not a victim. The demon is like leading them. But there are situations where the demon takes full control and the human is out. This will solve all problems today. All problems about morality, about religion, who corrupted it, about mental illness, about corrupt cops and governments, how to solve problems between the human race, humans who obviously are different religions and different cultures, and how they should mix with each other, if we simply acknowledge how demons are controlling people. If they can just send you a thought to your mind about that stranger, and this human agrees to it, and just all of a sudden targets this person, but this exact other stranger, bystander next to them, they don't send them a bad thought about this one, then you can understand why the hell random people pick on random people. You can't ever figure out the pattern. You don't understand. They're not necessarily picking on a certain thing. And then you can understand some of them why they pick on a certain demographic. Oh, that one's racist. You get it. They don't care about your color. They don't care about your race. It's just their demon wants to pick on you. They get to just make this human agree to the bad thoughts about you. It may not have had anything to do with your race or gender or anything. They just tell you bad thoughts about that human. You agree to it because you're an evil person. You just harass them. You don't know you were the third person this day who harassed them, and you're a specific race. You're a specific age group. You don't know your demographic you're in that would make this person think, what the hell? Why am I being harassed by humans like this? You don't know what that person's going through. Correct? You're just a puppet. As I record this mentally ill person who's possessed, their demon keeps flinching and twitching because they're uncomfortable with the truth that I'm saying. And it comes out as the person, right? The human feeling so uncomfortable. And others who are also possessed, who are demons, who are observing and watching and listening to me, are just talking to each other, just minding their business. This is how they control the human race. One of them is going to sit there and listen to me. They're going to act all chill and calm, but they're listening and they're projecting evil thoughts to me. Other demons are here possessing other people, but they're just acting casual. Other ones are in a car just driving. They're all possessed. Their demons are all bothering me and following me and harassing me, but they choose what to do inside the body. Some of these demons will act casual, meaning some humans will look casual. Some of them will look like a crazy thing that's actually targeting you. If that's how much power they have over these human beings, then you can understand why we as human beings can't seem to figure out a way to fix our global problems. Because it's not always going to be a pattern that we can understand. Oh, this president hates that type of country, therefore let's try to, help him stop hating. It's not always something you can understand and help him stop feeling. It's random. It's whatever the demon wants him to do. Let's go to that country, bomb it. Let's go to Baba. You're never going to get what the hell is going on and how to stop it. Because it's just whatever their demon wants to do. They pick on this person, but not that person. It's insanity. And that other demon in that other body over there also is bothering this person. But they're going to act like a friend. They're going to come up to them and say, hi, do you know where this thing is? I'm lost. Actually, I'm sorry to bother you. Yeah. And they're going to try to enter your life as a fake friend. They have different ways they try to enter your life. They have a plan. They outnumber us in number. Some are possessing humans and they're coming to you, bothering you, and some are acting casual, sitting around you, listening and monitoring your life. Some have caused you whatever traumas or problems you had as a child, and now as an adult, you're drugging yourself and numbing yourself, and you're into alcohol, and you think you're some homosexual or whatever. You have weird psychological problems because all these thoughts about perversion are coming to you, like being a pedophile or whatever. Those demons who terrorized you when you were the kid, whatever abuse they did to you through the family or others, are coming back, putting witchcraft on you. asking other demons and complete strangers in another location to terrorize you with thoughts about these types of filthy, nasty perversions. So you actually start to say to yourself, what the hell is going on with my head? And some of you who are filthy as hell will actually go and act on it and be a predator to children or the same gender or whatever. And then the demon is going to tell you, call it normal, call it attraction, call it sexual. You're obeying what they tell you to do. So you do know what the hell's wrong with you if you reach this level. But you're evil now. You obviously don't want to expose what's happening internally inside of you, because you like to always act like a victim. You're not going to act like you mastermind these thoughts with the demon and you agreed with it and you're working with it. Who the hell's going to try to help you then and talk to you? But if you act like you don't know what's going on, that's what you want. You want people to argue, because you're also a psychopath at this point, a narcissist at this point. You like to steal energy. Not you. You're a human. Demons can absorb our energy and steal it if we react to them a certain way, even just mentally, emotionally. Just be. Anytime someone is trying to harass you, any way, shape, or form, anytime you walk by people and you get their evil thoughts about what they think of you, right? Because obviously they're staring at you or being hateful or whatever. Anytime they're not looking at you, but there's fearful thoughts about strangers, right? Oh, this one's going to hit you. This one. Just tell yourself that person's mentally ill. That person is possessed. They're sick in the head. A healthy person does not make me feel this way if I walk by them. Now it's not your problem. So even if they were trying to commit a crime and hit you, you're going to be calm. You're going to be stoic. Your face, your body language, nothing is going to react. If it's a cop, you're not going to take it personally. You're not going to fight with it. You're not going to get angry. You're not going to be fearful. You think he's sick in the head, because a normal cop would not bother a normal person. It's always their problem. You're pushing it back to them where it came from. Don't let it project to you. So, okay, the solution I was talking about. Opposite equilibrium, reverse it. Emotions and thoughts. All these bad things that are hurting you right now. Whatever right now, if I ask you to go back 10, 20 years ago, that if we go back 10, 20 years ago into your life, you were sort of okay. But then the next 10 years of your life, you just sort of, right, you went down. You started to die internally because of, right, the mental baggage you carry or the mental problems you have. Understand that means there's a demon in your body usually. It's their thoughts. It's their feelings. It's what they're projecting to you. That demon is mentally ill. They're sick in the head. They're trying to get you to be sick in the head. If you reverse it by one, telling yourself it's not yours, it's not your problem, and humans who seem to target you and harass you and those who you would say have no business to try to enter your life, right? They're not good people. They don't have a good intention towards you. They're usually toxic, but they're trying to always, right, act fake friendly, enter your life. Understand the demons sent them to you as well. Understand they're mentally ill, they're sick, they're psycho. Always disconnected from yourself. It's not you. That's how they act towards everybody. Now you take back your health. You eat good food. Anytime these crazy thoughts come to you, anytime these emotions come to you, it's always hurting the stomach, the heart, sort of like the senses, the ears, the eyes, the brain area. That's why people rub their face when they're stressed or tired. You get headaches too. Obviously, at some point, it accumulates. That's it. Don't just think I'm going to eat well, I'm going to be fine. The thoughts are intrusive, right? This depressive emotion is intrusive, right? Now you're going to embark on that 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., whichever time you want to wake up in that time. You know, I would just say 1 hour is probably a good amount of time. But you can always do 20, 15, 10, 30 minutes. Up to you. If you're doing it every night, obviously you're doing it a lot. And you're praying to God to be delivered from whatever demons are possessing you. Say it. The average human is possessed. 2, you ask him to deliver you from the witchcraft, the curses, and look at my words, all other powers that follow you ever since before your birth. Those that come from the bloodline are generational. They come from the family bloodline. And those that just entered your life through your own conduct of sin, and those that entered your life through other ways. My Lord, deliver me from them all. If you just say that as a nice sentence, You asking for other things that have nothing to do with demons. You want, right? Happiness, whatever you want in this materialistic life, whatever you want, love, whatever, healing. You know what you need. Asking for, obviously, deliverance from the way they control your mind and cause you all these mental problems and psychological pain and all this stuff. You ask for all this help. You ask for all this healing. You ask for it to happen quickly. You ask for intellect and wisdom and knowledge to come to you on how to deal with it. Right now, I stopped talking about demons and mental illness, right? The humans who are possessed started to relax. Their demons started to stop using their body language and they just sort of look quiet. I swear to God, if I start talking about mental illness one more time, that human will twitch and flip, and it's like someone's beating them in the head inside their body. Because that's their demon who doesn't like me talking about this subject. See, it's happening again. They're going to drink something. They're going to touch themselves. They're going to keep moving because that's the discomfort of whoever is possessing them. They don't like me talking about mental illness. Because if we can get rid of this thing, humans are free from demons. It's over. It's over. But I go back to talking about eating good food, they relax. That person literally relaxes because they're listening to me, get it? They don't like me talking about mental illness because they're mentally ill and their demons are bothered. And the entire time I'm talking, they keep looking back at me covertly and my stomach gets attacked with this intense anxiety, this sort of fear. Like, you know, when someone's about to hit you or something, or there's a threat to your life, the way your body and your stomach go and move, right? The way they go juk or whatever. Every time they look at me or every time they move, my body is attacked with fear. I'm not looking at them. I'm just recording, okay? It's because they're attacking me with witchcraft. They're trying to put fear into my body that does not belong to me so that then they can get me to stop recording anything about mental illness and demons. Because then they think, let's put fear into her body, her stomach, let's cause her that feeling of anxiety coming over her throat. You know, when you're about to give a speech, that sort of feeling in your throat, it feels like you can't even speak because, right, there's that nervousness, that sort of moving or anxiousness in the throat area. They do a witchcraft to me where that happens to sort of my throat area, my torso, my heart. See, they're attacking me with fear. Anytime I talk about something,